Hey y'all, welcome back to our channel, Living Like a Lewis. If this is your first time, welcome. We are so glad that you're watching. If this isn't your first time, welcome back y'all. So, November is Epilepsy Awareness Month, and for those of you who don't know, our 3-year-old Logan, epilepsy is one of his diagnoses. But today's video is about infantile spasms. So for me, infantile spasms is a sensitive topic because I feel like they played a huge role in Logan's development after coming home. So I'm going to tell our story about infantile spasms, or epilepsy story. So when Logan was admitted to Vanderbilt, initially after about, I don't know the exact amount of days. After a few days, they did see that he was having subclinical seizures, which means that he was having seizures, but we couldn't tell that he was having them. So his brain was firing off, but to us, we couldn't tell. He was just like, he still had his eyes closed, not really responding, so we didn't know. The only way we knew was from an EEG. So, once they diagnosed him with like subclinical seizures, they put him on 2 different types of medicines. Well, they started with one, and that type kind of didn't work as well, so they added another one. And so he was on 2 different types of seizure control medicines, which at that point he wasn't having any more seizures. So they took off the EEG, and he was in the hospital around 3.5 months. And so during that time, there were times that he did have what we thought may have been seizures, but with the EEG, there was no seizure activity. So we ruled those out before leaving the hospital. So when he left the hospital, he was not having any seizures to our knowledge. So Logan came home June or July 2019, and he wasn't diagnosed with infantile spasms until October. So there were a few months where, looking back now, when I look at videos and when I look at older videos or videos during that time, it's clear that he was having seizures, but we were unaware. Like, that was years ago. We've experienced a lot since then. We were fresh out of the hospital. Some of our nurses were like fresh nurses, like, you know, fresh with home care, first time dealing with the trach, then epilepsy, all of that. And so they didn't see any telltale signs, right? He was in therapy, OT, PT, multiple times a week during that time, or at least once a week for each therapy, and nobody noticed anything. We didn't think anything was wrong. We were told when we left the hospital that, you know, he had CP, he had a lot of tone issues, he had a lot of spasticity issues, and so we were told that his movements could be jerky, they could be different. Doesn't mean anything's wrong, definitely doesn't indicate a seizure. So we thought everything was fine. And so we had a nurse that started, and she had dealt with a patient previously that had infantile spasms, and she noticed them right off the bat. She did not tell us. She told another nurse who had been here for a while, because she knew that we had a relationship with that nurse, and so she told her what she thought was going on, and it was never relayed to us, ever. It just kind of got lost in translation, until a nurse came one day to train. It was this nurse that came to train, and she was a lot. She was a lot, and she immediately was like, those are infantile spasms. Those are a type of seizure. He needs to be seen. And she would not let it go. She was here for 7 hours. She talked about it for 7 hours. That's an infantile spasm. Oh, that's one. I could not hold Logan without her being like, oh, that's one. Oh, he's having another one. That's 12. That's, you know, like just driving me insane. And I'm grateful that she did, but her approach was just off. But because of that, I did send videos to his neurologist at the time and let them know that this nurse thinks that these are seizures and will not let it go and thinks that Logan needs to be seen. So I want for him to be seen. And they got him in for an inpatient EEG right away. So he was diagnosed with the infantile spasms in October 2019, and they wanted to treat it aggressively because they wanted them to stop. And they did. I cannot remember the medicine, y'all, but it made Logan have reflux. He was so irritable. It was a rough time, like, treating those. And then they tried, and they still weren't under control, right? And so then they tried another medicine, which got them, if I'm not mistaken, I can't remember the medicine that was added, but they added on another medicine, and we were able to wean off of, I want to say it was like prednisone or something, but I feel like that's wrong. But it had him super irritable, and so we were able to, we tried to stick with it for a few weeks because obviously, you know, they want to treat aggressively because of, from my understanding, the damage that it can cause. And Logan already had brain damage, right? And so he already was developmentally delayed, and they wanted to get it under control. So we did get it under control. It was also a struggle finding a balance between a medicine that worked and then a medicine that did not have, that worked, but Logan was asleep all day and night. It wasn't the days and nights were mixed up. He was just like out of it. And so that's a struggle that a lot of medical parents deal with anyways. I think just finding the right combination of medicines, the right combination of quality of life and things like that. And so during that time, that was just a hard thing for us. And it was tough. And so they finally got him under control. There was talks of a medication, I think it was called Sabril, which thankfully he did not have to be on, but there was talks of him having to be on that medicine. Like, we had already got it approved by insurance, just in case he had to be on it, but it could cause like damage to his eyes and his vision, and you know, weighing out the risk, the pros and cons of all of that again was very stressful, very emotional. We're fresh out of the hospital. Logan was doing so good before this whole infantile spasm thing came up, which why I think it's such a touchy topic for me. He was making progress in therapies, like he was doing really good, and this whole finding out he was having infantile spasms, treating his infantile spasms, getting those under control, kind of set him back a lot. And I don't know if he will, I don't know if he'll ever get back to that place. That's a hard pill to swallow. And there's a lot of guilt that comes along with that because we didn't know, for months that he was having those seizures. And so maybe had we known sooner, we could have got it treated sooner. But hindsight is 2020, and I choose not to dwell on that. But yeah, he's not had any more infantile spasms. He still has seizures, but infantile spasms, like I said, a lot of times are diagnosed based off of the type of movements and hyperrhythmia, I think is how you say it. And so when Logan would get EEGs for during that time where he was having infantile spasms, they were very chaotic. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen an EEG. If I can find one, I'll put in like a picture of like a normal one and then one of hyperrhythmia, and it is just like, it's very chaotic. And so even when he wasn't having physical signs of a seizure, his brain was in a very chaotic state. And so I'm really grateful that we are not dealing with those. Typically kids grow out of, once they're treated, infantile spasms can be cured and kids will go on to be fine. And if it's not cured or treated or managed and gotten under control, then it typically turns into another type of seizure, another form of epilepsy. Logan has been diagnosed with Lennox-Gastaut syndrome, which just means that he has multiple types of seizures. There's not just one seizure type that he has. In terms of infantile spasms, are cluster or spasms that may be associated with waking from sleep. Logan would have a lot of them when he was waking up and when he was getting ready to like doze off. Jackknife seizures, where the body bends forward, the knees are pulled up and the arms are thrown out to the side. A stiffening of the body and legs with the head thrown back, and then decreased visual alertness are just some of the symptoms of infantile spasms. And so looking back, even though that nurse was very rude and over the top and a lot to take in, I'm grateful that she did all of that. She's still not welcome back at my house anymore, but I'm grateful for that, just because we were able to get him diagnosed and treated and get those under control. So yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna piece all this together, but this is Logan's infantile spasm story. My shirt is a mess, it is, but I wanted to wear purple for epilepsy awareness, and I could not find my epilepsy awareness shirt, so it's probably in the piles of laundry that I have downstairs somewhere. I don't know if I'm gonna do another video. I'm gonna try to do another video just about where Logan is now in his epilepsy journey before the end of the month. So if you guys enjoy this video, give us a thumbs up, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, and if you have any comments, or you or anyone that you know has dealt with infantile, if you or anyone you know has dealt with infantile spasms, let me know in the comments. So I hope y'all have a great rest of the week, and I'll be back later.